it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to make DIY conversation hearts using Jello. These are perfect for Valentine's Day. They're so easy to customize and they taste way better than the originals. Let's get started. To make your hearts, you're going to need some Jello, or jelly as we call it in Australia, and you can choose your colors. I use some blue, some yellow, and some red for the ones you can see made here, but I'm going to be showing you guys how to make it with the pink bubblegum today. I've got some Sprite or lemonade. I've also got some sifted powdered or confectioner's sugar, and I'm using a red edible marker today, but you could also use straight food dye. I've got a spatula and I've got a couple of cookie cutters in heart shapes. You can make conversation stars, conversation ponies, whatever you like here. I've also got a rolling pin, a little cup measure, a bowl for mixing in, and I've also got just a saucepan, so you'll need heat for this recipe. Otherwise you could just dissolve the Jello using boiling water rather than the lemonade and they won't be quite as sweet. I've got an electric mixer. You don't need to have this, but it will make your job a lot easier. And I've also got a baking tray just lined with some baking paper. You want to measure out just 1/4 cup of your liquid. As I said, I'm using the Sprite or the lemonade. 1/4 cup is all you need here, regardless of what your packet instructions say. I'm putting that into a saucepan and then I'm adding the entire packet of my jelly or Jello. And these are going to taste like bubblegum and they're going to be colored pink just like bubblegum. I'm just going to stir that around and I'm going to bring that to the boil. Once it's boiling, you can take it off the heat. It doesn't have to boil for long. Literally just get it bubbling and get it off the heat. Once you're happy all those little jelly crystals have dissolved, you can transfer it into your bowl, but make sure that you're ready to start adding your powdered sugar at this point because it will start to set really quickly. That's a really thick Jello we've made. You want to add in your icing sugar, your confectioner's sugar, about 1/2 cup or a cup at a time. So I'm using the electric mixer because it just saves so much time and so much arm power here. And you just want to beat that through. It's going to be really liquidy to begin with, but as you get towards the second sort of third of that powdered sugar, it's going to start to get really thick. You don't want to add in all of your powdered sugar using this electric mixer, and you may not need all of the quantities that I've listed in your ingredients down below. Once it starts to look like this, so you can see here it's getting chunky, stop using your electric mixer or you are going to kill the motor. So just take it off the electric mixer and then we're going to pop a lot of icing sugar down on the bench and coat your hands as well. And you're going to tip out your kind of crumbly, doughy mix. Knead that, and as you knead it, it's almost going to start to feel like a fondant or a modeling chocolate. It gets really pliable, just like Play-Doh. You want to knead it and continue adding confectioner's sugar into it until it stops sticking to the bench. So as you knead it into the bench, by the time it stops sticking any of its remainders to the bench, then you know it's ready to go. Sit it aside on the bench for about 15 minutes and let it form a bit of a crust, which just helps it dry out and makes it a lot easier to work with. Once you can see all those cracks, they kind of look a bit like elephant skin, you just want to knead it for about 10 or 20 seconds just on the bench, and it shouldn't be sticking at all at this point. You can see there it's softening just as we need it, and it's really not taking that long. Sprinkle down another generous amount of that icing sugar, and then you want to roll your dough out. Now, as you roll it, you'll notice that I keep it moving. So I roll once and then I pick it up and I turn it around. This is to stop it from sticking to the bench. The thinner you roll these, the quicker they'll dry. The thicker you make them, the longer they'll take. So just cut out some of your love heart shapes and then place them onto your baking paper lined tray. Now they're going to take at least 48 hours at room temperature in a nice dry environment to completely dry. But I decided to speed up the process by placing them in my oven on its lowest possible temperature of 50 degrees for an hour on each side. So give them an hour on one side and then flip them to the other side. If they're not flipping easily, give them a little bit longer. So don't break them as you're flipping them. They should be quite ready to flip, kind of like a done pancake. Once they're completely dry, so they break when you break one and they don't bend, then you can start adding your text. If you add it before this, it's going to run. You can use whatever you like to add this text, food coloring, cookie icing, but the edible markers really are the easiest and neatest way to get your little messages on there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll recreate some amazing ideas with some really cute little messages for your Valentine this year. If you think this is a cool idea, I'd love it if you'd share the video, give it a thumbs up, or let me know down below. As always, guys, thanks very much for tuning in to My Cupcake Addiction.